The powers that be are outraged over the Freedom Convoy and the Great Honkening, and they're doing everything in their power to try and shut it down. In Ottawa, they're discussing bringing in the military to shut down the Freedom Convoy. It won't work. Their power, unfortunately for them, is not enough. When you have 50,000 truckers, all of their supporters in the city, and more trucks coming in, the people have the power. And once they realize it, there is nothing the establishment can do to stop it. But there still are hurdles. They say that wars are fought on soldiers' stomachs, or soldiers march on, full bellies, or whatever the saying is. I'm sure I'm getting it wrong. The idea is these truckers, they need your support. They need food. They need help. I mean, they're in these big rigs. They're coming into the city. They're blaring their horns. I'm seeing these videos of people dancing. It's amazing. But they got to go to the bathroom and they got to eat food. And that means they need help. One of the ways they are being helped is with this massive GoFundMe. Now, I want to be careful here. This GoFundMe, over $10 million has been frozen, I think now twice. And we need to make sure, and this might not be all bad on GoFundMe's part, we need to make sure that money is going to the right place. The last thing we need is for someone to take all this money and rip off the truckers and bounce with it. Timcast.com reports GoFundMe freezes over $10 million in funding from Canadian Freedom Convoy. The Freedom Convoy has entered its sixth day of peaceful protests over vaccine mandates for truck drivers crossing the U.S. and the Canadian borders. Free HONK. That's what we've been saying. We were talking about the Chinese Communist Party on Timcast IRL, and someone said free Hong Kong, the place, and it sounded like honk, and we were like, oh, that's a really good idea. We got to support this is a workers' uprising. These are regular people, and they're simply saying we want to be heard, and we won't stand for draconian rule by decree. I agree with it. I defended the Extinction Rebellion protesters, and I will defend Occupy Wall Street protesters. I will criticize Extinction Rebellion for having bad ideas. I will criticize Occupy for being co-opted and having many bad ideas as well. But Occupy in the beginning was a populist uprising against the big banker bailouts and the economic crisis affecting Americans. Now we're seeing the Freedom Convoy inspiring people to stand up and say we are tired of rule by decree. I don't agree with every single person involved, but this is different from Occupy Wall Street. You know what's fascinating here? Occupy was easy to co-opt. Activists came into New York, came into the meetings and said, here's how it's done. It was interesting. They came a month in advance and they set the tone, far leftists. And there was infighting. There was an Occupy civil war between the east and west sides of the park. With the trucker convoy, there are no leaders. It's simply show up and honk your horn, baby. And of course, the powers that be are outraged and want to stop it. Well, let's read what's going on. We've also got censorship from YouTube trying to shut down news and information coming out of the convoy. But before we do, check out timcast.com. We need your support. We are funded by you as members. This is how we operate the website. It's how we hire our journalists to write these stories. It's how we fund on-the-ground reporting and make sure you're getting real news about what's happening. Obviously, we support what these truckers are fighting for. That's our opinion, and we will tell you that outright. But I'm not going to lie to you, and no one here at Timcast will. When there's a story about someone throwing human waste at a window or whatever, we'll report it. And we'll say, hey guys, say it's bad. When there's a Confederate flag or a Nazi flag, we report it. Because we're not here to lie to you. We're here to tell you what the story is, what we're hearing on the ground, and you make a decision for yourself. If you like the work we do, go to timcast.com, become a member, but check this out. If you go to timcast.com and go to our store here on the left, we've got the free HONK t-shirt modeled off of the free Hong Kong t-shirt. Or flag, I'm sorry. We have free HONK stickers and hoodies. Now, I want to be real with you guys. We wanted to find a way to support this materially in the sense that, what can we do to actually get the message out more than just doing the news? And at the same time, support the work we do. I don't want to detract from from all the activism that they're doing on the ground. And I would say if you want to directly support the movement, you should be supporting them through their means, through their GoFundMe, assuming it gets released. And you should be, if you're able to, sending donations directly to anybody in the area who can really, really help. If you want to support the work we do, producing news and doing commentary like this, you can buy the free HONK merchandise. I was talking about wanting to get sweaters or shirts to the people there. I just don't know if we'll be able to do it because it takes like a month to get this stuff. And I've seen a lot of people selling merch based on the HONK stuff. Part of me didn't want to make the merch because I don't want to be seen as trying to profit off of the activism they're doing. But I really, really want people wearing the memes and showing the memes. And it does help support the work we do. So if you think that's okay and you like the work we do, then consider buying the merch. If you think we shouldn't be doing it, you don't have to buy it. I don't want to profit off of a populist uprising and worker, but I do want to make sure we can continue to do the work at timcast.com with your support while supporting awesome movements like this. Look, many news organizations, they have their agendas. They have their opinions. They all do. We do too. I mean, we believe in freedom, honesty, and integrity. Personally, I like what the truckers are doing because I've long personally said people should be standing up and pushing back. I want you all to know that. And if you disagree with what they're doing, by all means, as long as you know that's my perspective. Let's read the news so we can see what's going on with this GoFundMe freeze and how they are censoring the message coming out. And a special shout out to Viva Fry, once again, who's been on the ground reporting this. Make sure you support Viva as well. A lot of people have mentioned someone named Portland Andy who's been covering this. I'm not familiar with Portland Andy, but anybody who's covering this on the ground, special shout out to all of you. TimCast.com reports the GoFundMe campaign organized to support the Canadian truckers' protest has raised over $10 million and was suspended on Wednesday by the fundraising platform. The page now carries a disclaimer. Let's actually pull it up. Reading, the fundraising is currently paused and under review to ensure it complies with our terms of service and applicable laws and regulations. So this is the Freedom Convoy 2022. This is crazy. $10 million. That's amazing. Tamara Litch and BJ Dichter are organizing the fundraiser. They say they want to make sure it's abiding by the law and all that stuff. Now, look, obviously the establishment is going to throw every roadblock in their way. I don't want to outright say this is nefarious, like GoFundMe is trying to jam up the campaign. Don't know for sure. I think it's important we know how this money is being spent because it needs to go to the truckers. Honestly, on its face, I trust it. I do. But I do believe that GoFundMe will likely release the funds. However, dirty games are still afoot, and I don't trust GoFundMe. I'm surprised anyone would use GoFundMe at this point when you can use something like Give, Send, Go, which is much, much safer for you and your finances. Check it out. They say, our team is working 24/7 and doing all we can to protect both organizers and donors. Thank you for your patience. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out and they're like, in order to ensure the safety of the donors, we're refunding all the money. Even when donors are like, yo, I don't want it refunded. Ottawa City Councillor Mathieu Fleury said that the money raised through GoFundMe should instead be used for the expense of police involvement in the protests. This morning, I have asked the city manager and city solicitor to immediately launch court proceedings targeting the millions of dollars in funds frozen by GoFundMe so Ottawa taxpayers are not left holding the bag for these protests, she said in a now deleted tweet. Nah, you can't do that. If I raise money and I say, if you give to us, we'll do X, you can't sue me because someone else did something. Nice try. They're trying to seize the money. Tim Cass goes on to say there's been no recorded violence since the start of the Freedom Convoy's protest 6 days ago. The peaceful protest demonstration has, however, disrupted the flow of traffic in Ottawa and at the Alberta border crossing. Videos released from the capital of Ottawa, or the capital, I suppose it's not the capital of, it's Ottawa, the capital, show protesters delivering food to the homeless as protesters gathered and raised flags in support of their efforts. Ottawa residents, frustrated with the constant blare of truck horns and traffic gridlock, have been questioning how police are handling the situation. On Wednesday, Ottawa's chief of police, Peter Slawley, said his force of 1,500 officers could not clear the city and needed the help of the nation's military. Yikes, man. This is a national issue. not an Ottawa issue. I am increasingly concerned there is no policing solution to this. There's no military solution to this. If you want the honking to stop, simply comply. Do as you're told. It's really funny when the despots come out and say, drop to your knees. And they still don't release the lockdowns. Now the power is in the hands of the people, and they're all so angry. Send in the people with guns, they cry. Please, the people have always had the power. But when they come together to exercise it, you lose, and you as in the despots. Quote, there is no lawful authority to seal a city. There's no practical capability to seal a city of this size. We do not want riots, but all options remain on the table. Too bad. People have a right to drive their cars, and what are you going to do? You see, that's the power of the people. They can claim this is an unlawful assembly, you must disperse. Just driving through the city. So what, no one's allowed to drive anymore? That's what they'll have to do. They'll have to just shut down streets and be like, no one's allowed to drive. A trucker could pull into the city, any city, and just drive around in circles. And what happens? What would happen right now? If in New York, 1,000 truckers just started driving around, the financial district, jamming up every aspect of the city. What are they going to do? You need to leave. I'm trying to leave. I'm just a guy driving my truck. Yeah. You'd gridlock a city, and they couldn't even claim it was an assembly because you're just driving. That's the beauty of the great honkening. Prime Minister Trudeau said the federal government is working with the Ottawa police to put an end to the protest. We will continue to work with law enforcement agencies to ensure that people are protected and to ensure that this protest, which is now becoming illegal, does come to an end. Slally cautioned that bringing in the military could carry a risk and estimated that he would need a force of around 50,000 officers to move protesters from Ottawa. The blocking of the U.S. border in southern Alberta appears to be easing somewhat after truckers at the border crossing at Coutts agreed to open some lanes. Frankly, the protesters feel their message has been heard. Nobody wants this blockade to happen anymore, said Chad Williamson, a lawyer representing truckers. These truckers are showing profound restraint and strong moral character. I'm a fan, man. They could have shut down so much and they could take whatever they want. They could demand way more money. They could at any point if they wanted to. And they don't. They don't organize this way. They just deliver the goods to our cities and make sure we have avocados in winter, strawberries, off-season vegetables, and all of our goods in general. Now they're even willing to ease up on some of the protests. Think about how much more reasonable that is than all the other protests we see with the left. Joe Rogan comes out and says, okay, we're going to do this thing with Spotify with the misinformation policy, and the left doesn't shut up about it. Yeah. So I hope the truckers get what they want, and it looks like they're starting to win. Take a look at this, though. YouTube's new censorship tactic. Limit streams that are too popular. YouTube is capping the number of live viewers for some creators. Now, people have started to notice that if they try to go to a live stream, particularly around the truckers, they get this flag. It says video unavailable. This video is popular due to limited creator history. We're limiting the number of viewers subscribed to this channel to help this creator reach a broader audience. This is interesting because it might actually be sort of a good thing. No, I mean it. A lot of people don't know this, that YouTube had really strict policies on live streaming, barring people from live streaming. You could not stream at all. Now what we're seeing is that small channels can stream, but they're getting limited. I'm not saying YouTube is right in this capacity. I think they may be using this as a dirty trick to try and shut down coverage of the protests. I'm just saying, while this flag may be new, be careful. The policy on limiting live streaming has been around for a while. It was after a particular event was live streamed that YouTube and Facebook and other platforms started cracking down on letting new accounts live stream. So I don't want people to think this is a new thing. If you think it's wrong, and I think it is, then you need to recognize they've been doing similar things to this for some time now. They go on to say, Reclaim the Net reports, YouTube has a brand new censorship tactic that appears to be affecting small creators, and one that on the face of it makes no sense. I disagree. There's a reason for it. You can disagree with it all you want. You can say it's wrong, but there's a reason for it. Several live streams posted on Google's platform last weekend by truckers protesting in Canada have had their audience limited. The reason given to viewers trying to access the videos, they were too popular. I want to stress this point again. I disagree with this. People should be allowed to live stream. But the stated reason for limiting this is because they don't want people live streaming really messed up things. And they can't catch live streams because they're live. I don't think that's a good enough reason. I disagree with it, but there is a reason. It's not like just all of a sudden they're like, oh, geez, we got to shut down these streams. No word, though, on whether that would make the videos available to the broader audience, or if YouTube would come up with yet more censorship gymnastics while trying to suppress content it might not approve of. Some incredulous Twitter users reacted by saying that they were waiting for confirmation the message was a thing and not a meme. However, it is definitely a thing. And it's not hard to see how YouTube would disapprove of the particular streams from the Ottawa protests, since they were organized by truckers opposed to COVID vaccine mandates. Reports mention that the giant platform limited viewership of at least 2 creators, both live streaming the Trucker Freedom Convoy events. Reports also note that visitors can see the videos if they're logged out of their YouTube accounts, and interpret this as a way to at once limit the reach of a video and be able to track viewers. So this is where I think the dirty game is being played. You can log out and watch it. Seems like they're trying to control what people think. Let's say you're on YouTube. You start getting fed videos, you watch them. You then start agreeing with the creators you see, but you don't see videos like mine. You don't see Steven Crowder or Jimmy Dore or Ben Shapiro. YouTube is trying to control what you think by only showing you certain information. So you see this live stream and they don't allow you to watch it. You log out and there it is, because they're targeting you. Now I just want to point this out. GoFundMe freezing the money, YouTube shutting down live streams. You're not going to convince me it's not coordinated. After everything we saw with what happened to Alex Jones and a bunch of these other people who are censored, you will not convince me it's not on purpose. It may be speculative. Seems like it's on purpose. Over on Reddit's NewTubers subreddit that gathers small content creators, more similar stories are popping up, with one user sharing that their live stream quickly hit 300 views, only to be informed by one of the people in the video's chat that they were starting to get the too popular error. The creator explained that they have had the channel for 7 years with 90 videos and several streams and could not understand why YouTube was limiting them, noting in the comments that the content was nothing unusual or controversial. You see, and there is the big red flag. So I'll stress this again. YouTube has limited live streams on smaller channels. It seems like they're using that as an excuse now, specifically to shut down these particular live streams. But this seems to be coming straight from YouTube's playbook: censorship, lack of feedback and communication, and disregard of smaller independent creators. Users and creators reacting to all of this saw it as yet more proof of YouTube's declared policy of helping smaller creators, being disingenuous and a front for censorship. YouTube cares only about YouTube. And what we're seeing across the board with all of these platforms, they want to take away your ability to broadcast yourself. They're pulling up the ladders. So I'm lucky. I got started on YouTube. Well, technically I started in 2012. And back then we all thought it was too late. No joke. We were like, man, late to the party. All these channels are so big. And if only we started sooner. It's interesting. I remember a few years ago, I had like 180,000 subscribers. And I have friends who have gold, the gold awards. These are the old ones. And I was just looking at them like, dude, I will never get to that point. It's too late. With the censorship, with as bad as it's getting politically, it's just never going to happen. And it happened. It's crazy. So I think it's important to recognize that they may be trying to make it hard for all of you, but never, never give up. Do what you have to do. Speak your mind. Challenge the system. Here I am now, 3 different channels, all over 1 million subscribers. And it's kind of crazy. I thought, I was like, I don't know if I'll ever get there, but I'll just keep doing my thing and maybe one day. And then it happened. Then it happened again and again. And now Timcast IRL, which is one of my newest channels, is on track to be bigger than all of my other channels. It's kind of crazy. You can do it too. They may be trying to pull up the ladder. They may be trying to censor and shut down everyone's voices, but never forget, you can do it. And I'll tell you this right now, Rumble exists. And if you want to talk about a real opportunity, Rumble. YouTube got big off broadcast yourself. YouTube got big by giving people the opportunity to create their own content. And then YouTube started cutting off the little guy and shutting them down. Rumble's not doing that. You can go on Rumble, start your channel. And as Rumble starts growing bigger and bigger and bigger, there's a real possibility you could end up with a very, very large channel. Dan Bongino got banned from YouTube. He had more subs on Rumble anyway. That is powerful. YouTube has a natural pull, and we all do use it. But I've been working very hard to get timcast.com to be independent. We're working on a mobile app. We are putting this show and our other shows on Spotify and iTunes and other platforms. We are diversifying across the board because we know YouTube is a sinking ship. We are seeing a worker uprising, and boy, are the powerful elites furious, and they can't stop it. But they're trying. The far-right truckers. Truckers, tell these people who's boss. Show them you will not screw around. Because truckers are the lifeblood of a nation, of nations. Transferring goods between country borders, transferring goods to your city, to your grocery stores. If they stop working, you ain't got nothing. But I'll tell you this. Behind the scenes, I'll tell you what they're doing. They're calling up Bezos and Elon Musk and being like, we need self-driving trucks now. Truckers have too much power. Yep. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm optimistic. There are some scary things I've seen that make me worried because of this censorship like this. But I tell you, when they do this, the desperation means they're losing. I had someone respond to me saying, Tim Pool claims that losing more ground means we're winning. Yo, Rumble exists, Odyssey exists, BitChute exists, Minds exists. Let them ban themselves into irrelevance. When they do this, we all see it. We see the fear and the desperation. And Rumble is growing. I don't think Rumble's perfect. I don't think it's going to solve all the problems, but it's there. And the worst case scenario, a parallel economy will emerge. They want to try and censor you and shut you down. We can always find a way because you can't get rid of technology. We'll leave it there. Shout out to the truckers, man. Thank you for what you're doing, for inspiring others to stand up for themselves, to say no to these mandates. And if you want to support our work, timcast.com, pick up your free HONK shirts and stickers. Do what you can. Spread the message. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you all I will see you all at 4 p.m. over at youtube.com/timcast. Once again, thanks for hanging out.